Hello, all you science furs and everybody else out there in YouTube land. Scorch G Dragon here. Today I would like to demonstrate what I would call a free three-phase alternator. What you see here is the motor stator and rotor salvaged from a typical direct drive washing machine. This type of motor is becoming very common in many different brands of top and front load washing machines. And because this type of motor is becoming so common, you should be able to find these for free in any old junk washing machines in alleys, junk piles, or behind appliance delivery and installation companies. What is nice about this motor is that it's a permanent magnet three-phase high-efficiency motor that can also serve as a high-efficiency three-phase alternator with little or no modification. First, I would like to show you the rotor, which at first glance appears to have just basic ceramic magnets, but if you look closer, you will notice there is actually a laminated iron shield molded behind the magnets. I wonder what the significance of this might be. Is this a magnetic shield or a way of providing more magnetic poles? I've seen this type of shielding before in something called the Quanta Magnet Motor Generator Hybrid, as featured here on YouTube. I'm going to go ahead and pull the camera off the tripod and I'll show you this laminated shield that's in this rotor. As you can see here, that's about an 1/8 inch layer of iron shielding behind the magnets. I'm now going to assemble this rotor onto the stator and do a simple demonstration here. Magnets in this thing are pretty strong. You got to kind of fight with it to get it centered here. The engineering on this is pretty nice. They designed the bolts so that when you unscrew the bolt, it actually pulls the rotor off of this wind shaft. So pretty easy to take this apart and put it back together. As you can see here, I simply cut the entire bottom out of the outer tub of the washing machine. This actually came out of a Whirlpool top loading machine, and after removing the tub seal from around the shaft, this rotor is relatively easy to turn, although there is some noticeable cogging, but still very easy to spin with just one finger. And with the meter connected to just two of the three legs out of the three-phase alternator here, I can easily demonstrate and generate over 120 volts by spinning it with just one finger. I'm going to center on the meter here. And if I just spin this with one finger, I'm getting over 130 volts out of this thing. What is this good for? I don't know. But I can imagine there are actually many different ways this motor generator could be used, including modifications to operate it like a Bedini pulsed DC fan motor conversion, or a wind generator, as detailed at a website called yourgreendream.com that has many different ways that this can be wired for wind generator. You don't really want this high of a voltage for a wind generator, and you can reconfigure the coils for lower voltages and higher currents, or maybe even use it as the alternator section of your own self-charging Quanta motor generator hybrid. That is all for now from this dragon. Have a great and scaly day.
So imagine this being a piston coming together, and it's kind of hard here, but as soon as they get close together, they're solid.
Great! Your next step, calculate the force required to push the spring together. Measure the mass of the magnet, measure the mass of the spring that has to move, calculate the friction, write all that down, and then we'll continue.
Now if I were to fire that off,
Yes, now measure how much energy it took to, quote, fire that off, write that down, and we'll continue.
it will go several feet.
Yes, now measure that several feet, convert it into meters, measure how long it took that specific mass to travel that specific meters, convert it into seconds, then calculate how much energy it took to move that mass that distance. Write that down and we'll continue.
So that's great. It comes together relatively easy. You just go like this, and once these springs get close together, they just help themselves. And you can make that easier by adding more magnets on the one end and still have the piston size small.
You can also make it a hell of a lot easier by using a less strong spring. If you add more magnets to one end and you push it together, it'll take more energy to pull it apart.
But how do we release it? Automatically. So if I pretend this was a donut magnet, or in this case a screw, or sorry, a nut. Yeah. And that goes inside. Now I'm creating an inverse magnetic field. When it comes together, still comes together just as easily, but then automatically wants to bounce apart.
Why not use a lighter spring?
So on the inside here, I'm going to have a magnet that extends into the spring without a hole in it. And on this side, I'll have one with a hole in it. So they will come really close together. They should be here in a week or so. And when they come close together, they'll help to pull together, but then they're instantly going to bounce back.
Yes, now measure the temperature of your spring. And then take all your figures, add them and subtract them correctly in the correct directions, and you will find the value is negative.
See how that bounces back all on its own? And the other way, it comes together relatively easy, but stays. It'll stay for days. And one little flick, we got over uni. That just went like 4 feet. So the mount, my idea is the radial engine, as I told you, concept where it's going to have like 5 magnets, 10 magnets, 15 magnets.
And then you need to add a source of energy.
And then at the 15 magnet point, it's going to compress, and it pulls to the 20 magnet point per se, and then it's going to pop off and then start all over again. So I'll have 3 of these in a rotor.
And then you have to add a source of energy.
Make my radial engine design. So that's how it works. And I'll have these in cylinders, and it'll be all looking halfway decent. But yeah, that's the concept, Mike.
So it will look nice, it'll just sit there and do nothing, without a source of energy also added. But hey, who am I complaining? I'm not paying for it.
行きました。2速、3速、4速、3速、2速、1速。はい、停止。はい。
タイヤバランスが悪いんでしょうね。
それもう一回押すのね。
パンク防止。
Free energy now.
Imagine a world in which each home has its own power generator that obtains its energy in such a way that no fuel has to be added. Imagine every vehicle being able to run without ever stopping for fuel. Imagine each appliance having its own power source that never has to be recharged. That is the world of the future. Join with us now as we track our progress towards such a world.
Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Sterling Allen. You can join us online at freeenergynow.net, where you can find a list of past guests, download those interviews, and read the stories associated with those appearances. We're joined today, February 3rd, 2014, by Alan or Al Frankor of Magnetic Energy Systems in British Columbia, Canada. He phoned me to talk about some of the recent developments he's been involved with, and I asked if I could call him back so we could record the call, and he agreed. He then told me about how recently his LinkedIn profile has been getting a lot of attention. Visits by thousands and growing by university CEOs, engineers. It's gone viral, he said. There's a reason, he added. So, here's Alan.
I won't say everything, but I'll say some things that it's pretty interesting. And,
okay.
All right. I like to observe nature, as you know. Check out the website when you have the time. What I say on there is the real deal.
Remember or remind me what the website is?
The LinkedIn. It's my profile on the LinkedIn website.
Okay.
Magnetic Energy Systems is my name. It's a proprietor. I'm not incorporated or anything right now. You know, later on. You know, right now the technology is the most important thing right now at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
It comes to singularity, the rediscovery. And I say rediscovery because obviously there must have been people who've known somewhere, and somewhere in the past, maybe the ancients knew galactic formations in singularity. I am convinced, without a doubt whatsoever, that there are giant bowl-shaped vortices that resembles something going down Texas, the tornado, above and below galactic formations. That manifests during the clouding of the when all the matter in space produces arcs of lightning. You say galactic lightning, if you will. Something what you'll see in a volcanic eruption and the ash and plume coming out. You'll see lightning bolts taking place. That happening in the outer space sets up magnetic fields, which cause a singularity event to take place. The formation of two counter-rotating magnetic fields, like a mirror image of each other, opposite polarities, and they cause that spin. And that spin causes the singularity event to take place, and that causes it to nebula, the formation of galaxies. And that makes gravity. Gravity exists, and that's what makes us exist, the Earth, the planets, okay? The equator is the neutral zone, if you will, of the two opposite polarities above and below the equator. This links electricity, magnetism, and gravity in a new unified theory. That's what's coming.
Okay.
There's a misconception into the model of magnetic fields that most people are unaware of. And they're winding coils wrong. That leads to increased impedance, resistance, Ohm's law. It all increases as a result of the incorrect model of the true natural shape of magnetism, which more resembles probably that of an hourglass. And the orbitals are in different directions compared to what people might think. So when they miswind coils against the orbitals, you're going to get impedance because you're working against the flow of the magnetic field during the point when it rises from 0 to maximum flux density. That's when it happens. The right-hand rule is a key factor. You got to things have to be wound in such a way so that you synchronize the windings with the orbitals on both polarities of the magnetic field so that the energies will form their standing wave effect. Maximum energy comes out of the coil with minimal losses. Produces the longitudinal impulse which leads to radiant energy, singularity, when you orient the things in such a way as nature does in galactic formations, linking gravity to electricity magnetism. This is going to lead to electrogravity devices, just like Back to the Future, the Jetsons cartoon when we were kids growing up. The power supply, I got it running. The old power supply, the EMA power supply, got it running. But there's a fault in the secondary output coil. It's leaking. The windings have to be redone. They've been shifted throughout the 35 years of somewhere being handled in the past, where the windings come together and they're closer than the spark gap itself, so they internally arc. The insulation broke down, so I have to redo those windings on the secondary output coil. But the oscillator, all the parts so far, everything's working. After 35 years of being dormant, Richard Hackenberg's the inventor of it. This is it's a very, very interesting power supply. Okay.
So what are we going to expect in terms of people building things and producing practical devices with this?
That's just what I'm working on, Sterling. I really, really am. I'm right here. I'm working on 3 more units like it. I've got a lot of the components already to reproduce the same thing. And then from there, we're going to deviate 2 experiments with it. So I keep the original one intact. It took a lot of work, by the way, to get it run. And a lot of parts came off, and a lot of brand new equivalent components had to be replaced during the process of reviving this thing and re-engineering it, or reverse engineering it, if I will. Figured it out, and the science is linked to what's going on in nature. It's a magnifying transmitter, ×2 mirror image. Look it up, Nikola Tesla. It's a method and apparatus of signaling, another patent. These concepts are valid. The ether. Tesla was right. People have a misconception of the magnetic fields and the shapes and the direction of the orbitals, and that leads to the increase in impedance, because it's like, look at it this way. If you and I were to go fishing with our fishing rods, let's go fishing up the river, okay? But we only got to paddle. We don't have any motors. So you and I got to paddle. We're going up the creek because there's a nice fishing spot, say, a mile up the creek. Just as a hypothetical scenario, can I use that comparison, right?
Sure.
So by the time you and I get there, our arms are going to be sore because we're just, holy crap, we're working, getting up the creek. We got that resistance of the working against us. Turn around 180 degrees. Now you're flowing down the river.
Right.
Right. Now we got free energy pushing us along. We hardly have to move our arms at all. We just steer it, and we'll get there. We could capture that energy.
You're going away from your destination rather than towards
We might have a better fishing spot, but the point is we're still moving energy. The fishing was just a directional thing. Magnetic field, we're just changing the direction now. I'm comparing that to what happens in the magnetic field. When we wind coils against the flow of the orbitals when the B field is changing, when the flux is varying its density. Consider the right-hand rule. Everything has an orbital in a certain direction. Everything has to be wound according to the direction. When things are wound against that direction, of course you're going to get increase of friction because you're working against the flow. It's like trying to swim up the creek. You're going to, you got that impedance against you all the time, unless you do something different. So this is what leads to such increased efficiency, things running more ambient from reduction of internal heat as a result of the reverse magnetic fields that are working against. They call it back EMF. Well, that's an EMF force coming at you, not working with you.
Are people involved in the electric universe paradigm talking to you? Is this tying to that?
It's a very interesting you mentioned that. You looked at my LinkedIn site.
I haven't yet.
Please do. There's a photograph on there called aerial phenomena. Okay? Have a look at that. That is a cropped version of the original. You can blow it up a little better. We cropped it so it fits the picture better. I have the original one here. It's much larger. The picture's bigger. That picture has an unidentified object that we photographed on our property. 3 witnesses, eyewitnesses, myself, my wife, and my daughter. Something happened that night. We captured it on film. If you look at the geometry of what happened, and that hieroglyphic writing, Egyptian writing, hieroglyphic writing, crop circles have hieroglyphic writing, and real ones. I'm not talking about ones that have been faked. Okay, ones that are genuine is what I'm referring to.
Mm-hmm.
They're, messages are in there. This thing zigged around in the sky repeatedly for many minutes. Jan, my wife, took multiple photographs of it. 2 of them turned out very clear. But one of them I posted. The other one of them is still here just before it disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
It is amazing, incredible. This thing made maneuvers unbelievable. It came right in from outer space. It left a ionized plasma trail. And I describe it as that because I don't know what else to describe it. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And it changes colors depending on how it moved, 180 degree. It had a similar sort of pattern to it. It came to a dot, made a big green large dot. That told me a lot. A dot. Okay, a dot. And a 180 degree turn. It corkscrewed, 3-dimensional corkscrew in the atmosphere. Came down and did a wild move to make a large letter X resembling the vertex. I instantly interpret that as the vertex. The vortex is a 3-dimensional magnetic field. 3-dimensional magnetics versus 2-dimensional magnetics. Everybody's, or I should say most people, seem to be dealing with 2-dimensional magnetics, and there's the link they're missing. They're missing the orbital out of the coils. Of course, you're not going to capture that energy because you're not even orbiting it in the machine that they're operating. They're not capturing it. It's just whipping by. There's nothing to harness it because they got nothing wound in their machine to harness it. So it's in virtual space, if you will. This thing corkscrewed in the atmosphere, 3-dimensional. To me, that resembles 3-dimensional magnetic fields. At the vertex, 2 of them, mirror image, placed, opposite, rotate in the same direction, opposite polarity, produces a nebula in the zone in between, the neutral zone in between, where gravity manifests. There's our link to gravity, electricity, and magnetism. We have a new unified field theory. And I'm also kind of speculating, postulating, running the idea, I'm kicking the idea in my head like a football, if you will, of maybe the expansion of the universe is the counter-opposite to gravity itself. They coexist, and that's why we call it anti-gravity. Maybe it's the process of the expansion once we set up the fields, just like in galaxies, why they repel. If the galaxies flip upside down in relation to the other, they can crash and collide. Because now the fields attract, because they got magnetic charges above and below, 3-dimensional bowl-shaped vortice fields that allow the galaxies to nebula to create the gravitational effect that pulls in the matter around, all around in space. It vacuums as it goes. Maybe when the magnetic field collapses after how many billions of light years, so to speak, that's when it goes supernova. Because then the gravitational field vanishes. Boom. Then become dwarf or asteroids or some other, because they lose their magnetic fields. They don't orient the same. They don't orbit the same. They change. It leads to a lot of wild theories and hypotheses now, and a whole new range of thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And this leads to anti-gravity in a much more profound way, and mimicking what is done in nature. That object in the photograph is singularity. The singularity represents the dot, the large green dot, and the vertex is you see the white smudge in the middle. That's the location of the dot. That's the singularity event. And opposite is the 2 counter vortice-shaped 3-dimensional rotary magnetic fields that sets up the nebula that makes singularity possible. The link between the electricity, gravity, and magnetism.
Interesting.
It is very interesting. So all those people that you hear rumors about and all those websites who think I'm a nuthead, it's all bullcrap. They just don't understand. It's a misconception, misunderstanding, and I think I'm going to be vindicated. That it's going to come.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's deserving. I didn't do anything wrong to people for them moving forward. That's what's part of my frustrations over this endeavor that I've been on, this lifelong quest.
Mm-hmm.
It's a quest. It's a puzzle. It's a riddle. Everybody's chasing a riddle. Well, I've come up with some answers, and it has to do with what we cited that night and the hardware that I have that's verifying a lot of stuff. And being downloaded, I guess, something happened. We had an encounter that night. There were orbs, many of them. Incredible geometry. It burned an image in the back of my mind, and that's all I got to say about it right now.
Mm-hmm.
Since then, things become much more clear. It's a lot more has been going on in my brain, and answers have been coming, and progress is being made. And I have the answers to electricity, gravity, and magnetism. And that's where now it's a matter of, I realize where I wound my coils incorrectly in the past. And now that's going to change now. You can't just go back and forth, because you right away, you got the orbitals working against you. Of course you're going to get all that heat, because you're working against the current, the magnetic current. All this happens during when the B field is in flux. During when the density changes from 0 to maximum. That's when it happens. That's when electricity is created. It's static when it stops moving. Got to keep it moving. And know the direction of the orbitals and synchronize everything accordingly. Both sides, considering both polarities.
Oh, very interesting. I appreciate you sharing this, and I can upload this and let people listen to it.
It's amazing stuff.
All right. Well, thanks for the call. I appreciate it.
We'll talk to you again.
All right. Take care, Alan.
Bye for now.
You've been listening to Free Energy Now, brought to you by PES, Pure Energy Systems. You may access past archives and upcoming show info at freeenergynow.net and join us for our daily news at freeenergynews.com. We invite you to see our directory of energy technologies at peswiki.com. That's peswiki.com. PES, the Pure Energy Systems Information Network.
A free energy machine? Hey everybody, welcome to Peace News Now, your daily journal of peaceful resistance. I'm Derek J. Today's Friday, December 6th, 2013. 1 ounce of silver is $20. 1 Bitcoin is $920. This episode is brought to you by friends of WeUseCoins.com. Bitcoin is the greatest invention of the 21st century. Learn how you can use this new currency at WeUseCoins.com. There's no better launching pad to get started. That's WeUseCoins.com. 2 Brazilian inventors claim to have invented a free energy device and are now selling this device to the public. The device, in English, is called the Earth Electron Captor Generator. They're presently only offering the device to people who live in the city of Imperatriz. They're working to license production with several manufacturing firms that will allow for online sales. The rumor mill says that global distributors will come online next month. The device requires a small amount of initial input power to start some kind of sensor rolling, which then produces over-unity power. The device is small, so they advertise that it can be used in vehicular and residential power, as well as an industrial power source. The site claims the input power needed to run is around 2% of its output power. They have several sizes of the generator. The smallest prototype they build is capable of generating 12 kilowatts of power, with a load of 6,000 watts using only 21 watts as input energy. The prototype unit weighs 1.5 kilograms, measuring 20 by 30 by 15 centimeters. The average home needs around 15 kilowatts of power. This product seems real. If it is, this could be better than Bitcoin. The petrodollar could be dethroned by this invention. One of the comments on their videos says the system costs $12,000. I'm not sure if that number's accurate or even what currency it's denominated in. If that's reals, that would be around 5,500 US dollars. The two inventors were just arrested and released on bail while the local power company confiscated the first two devices they installed in homes for, quote, lack of proper certifications. Sales are suspended for now, but it appears they're still in operation. In other news, Detroit doesn't have many intact families, but now one Detroit family is being ripped apart by immigrations officials who gave a 40-year-old married mother 24 hours to leave the country. Despite having no criminal convictions, a husband who's lived here for decades, and 3 U.S.-born children. Seal Praktaj was ordered to report for deportation at Detroit Metro Airport at 10:30 a.m. this Tuesday for a flight back to her native Albania after receiving a letter from authorities Monday telling her to pack her bags. However, in a desperate bid to buy time, she deliberately missed the deadline and is now waiting at her home with her family around her until authorities come to take her to jail, where she'll be held until another flight is organized. Seal came to the U.S. through Canada in 2000, fearing that if she stayed in Albania, she would be kidnapped and sold into prostitution. She immediately turned herself in and sought asylum. While here, she married Pietro Gocevic, who was born in Yugoslavia but moved here 40 years ago, and the couple has 3 kids, ages 11, 6, and 4, all U.S. citizens. Seal is the sole carer of her elderly mother-in-law, another U.S. citizen, whose toes were amputated and needs help eating, walking, and washing. It's estimated that 500,000 people are living in the U.S. with a deportation order. However, U.S. Immigration's Customs and Enforcement, or ICE, only acts on a portion of cases, and the Obama administration specifically said targeting people with criminal convictions was the priority. Seal has none. In fact, she's a glowing member of her community, described by friends and her children's teachers as a hardworking mother who helps kids with schoolwork and keeping her elderly mother-in-law out of a government-funded home. Seal became concerned about 2 weeks ago when at her regular 6-month check-in with the deportation department, the agents put a permanent GPS tracker bracelet on her ankle. Now, government agents will come into Seal's home and take her into their custody, a jail. Seal and her children were crying as they hugged by the Christmas tree as they awaited the ICE officers. They will jail her for 1 to 3 weeks, however long it takes to organize another flight. Then border guards will drive her to the airport and take off her ankle bracelet like she's a mass murderer or a terrorist going to Guantanamo. Stay tuned to Peace News Now for all the latest updates on the ongoing peaceful evolution. If you enjoyed the show, send us some Bitcoin at donate.peacenewsnow.com.
Okay, everyone, this is about as fast as I got this thing going. I don't know how much more faster it will go. Again, there's nothing influencing this thing. Like I said in my last video, there's the stator support. that I built. That noise that you hear, I don't know if you guys could see that. Let's see if I can focus in as best as I can. You can see that it's shaking. Look at that right there. That's shaking. Okay, I'm gonna pan out so everyone can see. Okay, there's nothing in there, nothing influencing there. Okay, nothing behind that wall. There's the beads. There's no motor or anything like that. But that's about as fast as it's gonna go. Okay. Again, it took a while for this to build up. It takes about like almost 12 to 14 minutes, 12 to 15 minutes to build up speed. And actually, it looks like it's building up speed now. I don't know how fast this thing will go. Because there's a science in here. There's magnetic influences that are going on here. But that's what's going on. And okay, let me see if I could be able to get an overview of this thing. Okay, a high view. Okay. Oh boy, I'm short guy, so I can't get this thing as high as I can. Oh boy. See if I can get this thing higher. Okay, I got this as high as I can so everybody can see that thing. Okay, I think it found its equilibrium speed. But again, there's no influence in here. This cabinet here, let's see if I can get this open here. There's just medication stuff and a high blood pressure machine. There's nothing in here. And there's nothing in there. Just cotton stuff and whatnot. But as you can see, that's about as fast as it's gonna go. It found its equilibrium speed. This thing, by the way, is very, very strong. It's hard for me to stop. Once it finds its equilibrium speed, it's very hard to spot. I don't know how fast this thing is going. You guys can figure it out. I'm gonna go ahead and I would love to stop this thing, but I like the way it's spinning. I'm gonna be giving up on this stuff. I'm not gonna do this anymore. Again, every time I say it's gonna be my last video, I end up posting something due to recent events that's been happening. I'm taking a real big chance in posting this stuff, especially one that works the way it does right here. Again, that noise that you hear, it is the stator support. When it goes in between those gaps, it bounces like that. If I had magnets all the way through, it would be much faster, and you wouldn't hear that bouncing effect. But again, I'll show you what I mean. But you can see how that thing is bouncing like that. That's the magnetic influence of that world with this spinning like that. But again, I'm at 3 minutes 59 seconds. I'm at 4 minutes right now, and this thing's spinning the way it is. Okay, this was been spinning on from my last video till now. I only got 10 minutes of YouTube thing here, but this is it, folks. This is it. There's nothing here. Pan out. There's my camera stand. It fell. Okay, nothing there. Okay. All right. Let me pan this out again over here so everybody can see. Nothing going on there. Okay. This is all what it is here, everybody. Okay. All right. That's it. This is the motor. Let's see if I could. I would love to put this on a stand. See if I can get it to go on a stand here, so everyone can see that I'm not influencing this thing at all. Okay. Trying to get the stand ready here. So it's not. The stand is right here. Get in there. Okay. Sorry for all that movement. I'm trying to get this on the stand so everybody can see me in the video shot. See me, everyone, and see me in the video shot. Now, this thing is spinning fast because I got this thing right where it's supposed to go. I don't know how much more faster this thing will go. This thing is bouncing up and down. Again, I'm going to give this up, everyone. I'm not going to do this anymore. So definitely, I'm going to take this thing apart. I'm going to draw up plans, whatever. I don't know where I'm going to go with this. At this point, I don't think humanity is ready for this kind of stuff. After all the ridicule and all the slamming that I got from overunity.com and all the slamming that I'm getting from YouTube, everybody thinks this is a fake. Well, everyone, okay, it's a fake. Here, this is a big fake. I don't know how much more I can fake this. If people say that I faked this, I'm a hoaxer, I'm a scammer, but I'm not. This is it. This is running the way it's supposed to be, based on Howard Johnson's technology. That's the speed that it finds. That light that you see here, again, I have to repeat myself at 6 minutes 50 seconds. That light that you see here, that's the shiny part of this chrome piece that holds the stator assembly, reflecting off of a nearby light because of that thing pulsating like that. But again, I started this about maybe 10-15 minutes ago. Yeah, about 17 minutes ago on my other one, and I just let it build up speed, and I went ahead and shot a second video. So this will be considered video number 3. So this is a 3-part video. My first part showing what it was, my second part starting up, stopping it, and my last part showing how fast this thing goes. Again, I can go ahead and stop this. I'll go ahead and stop this. I got 7 minutes. I got to keep an eye on the time here. 7 minutes 40 seconds. I'm gonna go ahead and stop this. This thing is, well, you can feel the wind on this right here. It feels great. Let me go ahead and stop this thing. Again, I have to use both of my hands to get it to go, to get it to stop. All right, I stopped it. You can see it's influencing the magnetic field there. Okay, this ain't a self-starter, so I'm gonna go ahead and start it up again. Here's my 2 hands. I'm just gonna nudge it. Okay, see where it goes. Come on, baby. Come on, come on. I think I found the most perfect adjustment on this thing here, where it's very comfortable. Again, it's starting on its own. It'll start slow, but it'll build up speed to that one speed. It takes a while. I'm at 8 minutes 33 seconds. Let's just leave it through its seeing. I'm behind the camera looking at how many minutes this thing is. But again, it takes about 15 to 12 minutes for this thing to build up speed. But you see it's speeding up. Let me go on this other. Let me go. Again, it's speeding up. Now I'm wondering. Again, if I go ahead and put magnets all the way around and fill those gaps up, I think this will be a self-starting motor. I don't know why it's not a self-starting motor, but this is it. I'm working with crude type of equipment. It's all rough. This is all rough. This is basically a demo. This is a demo working motor of Howard Johnson's all-permanent magnetic motor he worked on in the early 80s. Again, you see it's building up speed. I don't know how much more minutes I have in this camera. 9 minutes 29 seconds. You can see it's building up. Okay, and it will build up again. I'm going to let it build up to about almost 10 minutes. See that? And believe me, this thing, the way you were seeing it go fast, folks, that's how fast it's going to go. 9 minutes 50 seconds. Okay. 9 minutes 54. I'm going to go ahead.
In the previous video I showed you how to make a free energy generator from the extension cord and the lighter. My extension plug is rated 2300 watts. I am using the piezo from the lighter to establish the energy circulation again. Now the energy circulation is established. Let's test it. The light bulb, the night light, the charger, and all together. And now I am hooking the 2000 watts heater to this. I'm connecting it. And let's turn it on. The fan only. 1000 watts and 2000 watts. Let's add the light bulb. And the 500 watts drill. Oh no, too much power. Let's try another experiment. You can see when I open the circle, it stops working. The switch also opens the circle.
Free energy is easy. All you have to do is take a motor, 2 generators, spin the whole generator with the motor, and stop one generator with the other one. It's called regenerative braking. You get 2 times the power because you're stopping one generator with the other generator. You're causing this, the motor spins this generator, this generator stops this one, causing this one to work and making this one work. You get 2 times the power.